Wow, what a great conference. I wish you were here with us to enjoy our apostolic and prophetic conference. We definitely had speakers that dealt with 1 Corinthians 12 chapter gifts, and they demonstrated by their actions, their character, their personality. Romans 12, they had just the servant's heart. They served us with their giftings. So while you're rethinking church, watch these highlights, and I hope you'll order the entire conference because I loved every second of the conference. I'll see you on the end. Thanks in advance for watching Let the Prophet Speak.
I can do anything more than we can ask or think, more than we can imagine in our wildest dreams. By His blood I have been redeemed, and in His mercy He kept me. Who wouldn't let my enemies triumph over me? Oh, my God can do anything more than we.
Byron was coming in. He's I call him my Benjamin, the son of my right hand, my place of power, my place of strength, that lives there in Tallahassee. And he was coming in to host Bishop Murphy for me, to pick him up, to handle all of that. Took off, said, Mom, I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. I said, son, I appreciate it. In fact, he said, I'll take care of the SUV and everything, the kind of vehicle he wants to be picked up in. I have a Lexus, but he didn't want that. I have a Mercedes, he didn't want that. He wanted an SUV. He said, son, my son said, okay, I'll do just that. And on his way here down Highway 20 this afternoon, I'd already gone through this when Marcus first moved to Atlanta. He was on his way somewhere and was in a horrendous car accident. Someone was texting on their phone and switched lanes. You know how all those lanes in Atlanta? And he's had to swerve over and ran up under a flatbed truck. That car, when they sent me a picture of the car on my phone, I got a picture before I heard from Marcus. And when they sent me the picture and I looked at the picture, I took a deep breath and thought in my head, my God, I got to bury my baby. Lord, you kept me from burying the one little girl at 6 months old. And good God Almighty, I didn't see this coming. A few minutes later, I got a phone call, and he said, Mom, I'm all right. He said, but when the state trooper walked up to the car, he said, I know the person that was in this car is dead. He didn't even have to go to the hospital. We kept a picture of the car as a memorial that God will watch over and do it again and again and protect what belongs to you. He'll keep that you've committed into His hands. If that's your kids, put them in His hands, He'll keep them. He'll keep everything you have against that day of accidents, flat tires, crazy drivers, drunken drivers. It doesn't matter what's going on. But today, I'm waiting. Byron called me and said, Mom, I'm leaving Tallahassee. I decided to go for a swim. I set my cell phone and looked and thought, you can set your watch by him. He's normally early. Strange he's not here. A few minutes later, swimming, I heard him say, hi, Mom. And I got up out of the pool and he said, Mom, the reason I'm 45 minutes late, I was coming down Highway 20 and there was this vehicle behind me that just kept riding my bumper. So I kept speeding up until finally I was clocking 70 miles an hour. I decided I'm not going to go any faster. It's 55 on Highway 20. I'm not going any faster than 70 miles an hour. And they're riding my bumper and I can't pull over. He said there was a furniture truck in front of him, Ashley Furniture. And he knew the man behind him couldn't see the Ashley Furniture truck. So he just says, okay, this is as fast as I can go. Ashley's Furniture put their left blinker on. 2-lane highway, Highway 20. Put their left blinker on. Byron pumped his brakes to let the man know behind him, and I'm telling Byron's story, that I'm about to, hey, slow your roll, brother. You're on my bumper, but I'm about to stop. He said, I pumped my brakes. And he said, when I pumped my brakes to let him know I'm about to come to a stop, around this time, the guy pulled from behind me and accelerated. And when he pulled from behind me and accelerated, Byron said, I immediately hit my brakes and pulled over as far as I could to the edge so I wouldn't be a part of a 3-car collision. And that guy hit that to avoid hitting that Ashley's truck. By the time he pulled up side by side next to that SUV that Byron was in, he discovered that Ashley was making a left turn. He swerved off the road to avoid killing the two people in the Ashley truck and hit a tree. And Byron said, I've never seen anything like that in my life, Mother. When he hit that tree, I saw the back of his van jump up in the air when it hit the front of that tree, and saw the front of it wrap around that tree. He said, I immediately pulled my SUV over and jumped out and left the door open because I'm the first responder. I jumped out and ran over to the vehicle, the van that the guy was in, and it was on fire. He said, I looked at the man and the bumper, the dashboard, everything was up to his waist that you couldn't see his legs. And the guy said, my legs. He said, I didn't want to tell him. I thought, his legs are he's probably decapitated himself. He said, I looked up and the guy's head was split open. He said, I've never seen anything like that in my life. The guy's head is split open. And the guys in the Ashley truck jumped out and got a fire extinguisher and put the fire out because they couldn't get the guy out of the van. He said, I stayed there until the paramedics, the state trooper came, the paramedics, he said, and they called the helicopter because they had to life flight him for him to make it. And I headed this way. And when he told me the story, I said, God, you did it again. You did it again. You took care of what belongs to me. That I wouldn't have lived had the son that was on his way here to help us with ministry, to pick up the speaker, been killed in an accident. It would have taken me out of the pulpit and probably out of my mind or out of this earth realm. But the same God that saved Devin at 6 months old when she was thrown from a car, so I didn't have to bury her, and the same God that let Marcus live so I didn't have to bury him, that same God, come on preacher, you're gonna make me preach up in here, he did it again. If God can get a praise out of you, if he can get you to get out of the way and be still and know that he's God, woo! If you can remember all the ways that he brought you, if you can remember how he came through before, if you can remember that he's an on-time God, that he never fails, God will make a move in the earth realm that will put your enemy to shame. He's a covenant-keeping God.
You can still get all the benefits of the Apostolic and Prophetic Conference. For your gift of $50 or more, you can receive a download of the entire conference in MP3 format. For your gift of $100, you can receive the entire conference on CD. For your gift of $120 or more, you can receive the 5-DVD conference set, which include messages from Drs. David and Vernette-Rosier, Bishop William Murphy, Apostle Paula Price, and Bishop John Guns. For your gift of $150 or more, you will receive all of today's offerings, plus the Prophet's Handbook, a guide to prophecy and its operation by Dr. Paula A. Price. To place your order, call us at 850-769-5442 or email us at healingthewholeperson@comcast.net. Thank you for watching Let the Prophet Speak and helping us reach the nations.
When I look out here, I thought, God, look at all the times. I don't know if I ever told Apostle Watkins this, but I remember walking in the hospital, Gainesville, it's Shands. Clara had called, and she said, you need to come. They said, call in all the family, because he's leaving here. My husband said, I turned to the Lord and said, I don't have many friends. Do me a favor. Leave him here. I wanted to hope with him and believe with him. Clara said, I set the atmosphere. I didn't let doubters in the room. Somebody's getting some information they need. This is a rhema for somebody. She said, I didn't let any doubters in the room. I don't care if it was family members. I told them, get out. He will live. And my husband took some scriptures to him. Some CD, a scripture on CD. And it was so bland. You're talking about monotone. I call it sleeping scriptures. Will put you to sleep. But the word will work. Micaiah messed with that. She almost made me preach. I thought she too young for me to shove her and say, girl, that's my jam. I'm about to preach up in here. If you can put some word in it, the word will accomplish the purpose for which it was sent. It will not return unto him void. It will work. And word was working in that room, even when doubt was working in me. When we walked in that hospital, no lie, when I stepped off that elevator, I smelled cancer from the elevator. I could smell it, and I'm a seer. I could see the flesh decaying. It looked like rotten meat in the spirit realm. I could see the pus in it, the infection in it. And I said to my husband, I backed up in the elevator. I said, oh, God, I don't want to harm Clara or harm him, but I can't. I'll regurgitate. I went to the restroom. Death was just that strong on that floor. I went to the restroom and literally regurgitated. I put perfume on my hand, rubbed it under my nostrils, and went down the hallway like this. Saying, okay, God, you got to help me. Walked in that room. And when I left out, Apostle Dean was living there. She said, what do you think, my sister? I said, if God doesn't work a miracle, he's leaving here. And come here, Apostle. If God doesn't work a miracle, he's leaving here. I don't know how many years ago that's been. 2001. I can hold your hand and tell your wife, don't fight me. 2001. You do the math. This is 2016. Woo! What we doing? Apostle Watkins said he had a vision, and I hope I'm telling it right. You had a vision. And in the vision, he saw his body, saw his spirit go up out of his body. Top of it?
It was in the top of the ceiling in the room I was in. My body's up there. I'm lying on the bed looking at the body up there. I don't know where I am. That body took its time, come out of that ceiling, down like this. When it got right to me, that body flipped over and fitted me. And the next morning when they came for breakfast, I was sitting up ready to eat breakfast. And I had eaten all week.
Tell somebody he's a miracle working God. If you've ever seen a miracle, God still works miracles. Tasha doesn't have anything on us. There's a miracle in this room. Wave your hand. There's a miracle in this room. You better put a praise on it. There's a miracle in this room. I think I want another praise on it. God keeps working miracles. He keeps mystifying, baffling doctors. God keeps burning what the doctors have said. Woo! My God. My God. Whatever's been working. My God. I feel like praising. My God. I had to remember that not only is he able, he'll always leave a testimony in the earth realm that I'm a miracle working God. He waited until the doctor said there was no hope, and then he made his move. I'm going to say this and then I began to see rain over your head, and the rain had to do with revival rain. Him reviving you physically again and reviving you emotionally again. You've gone through a horrendous battle once again in your life that you never thought you would see again, but you felt like you stepped into a minefield, and the enemy even tried to make you question who you are in God and made you question, Lord, maybe I've done something wrong. Why am I taking these kind of hits? And you begin to question everything about your life because of the attack that's been on you. And I heard the heavens begin to open. I heard the sound first, and then I began to see the rain as it came down. I felt a miracle coming to you, a miracle working down on the inside of you, the miracle first working in your mind and began to work in your body. And the Lord says, I begin to take you out of the hand of man where they've been depending on, maybe I can depend on my husband, I can depend on my siblings, but the Lord says it's always been about you depending on me. It's always been about you growing in me. It's always been about my hand upon your life. It's always been about the calling of the Lord on your life. And there have been individuals that have just said, you're just a spoiled brat, you're just a baby, and you just want a handout, but you've been hurting so on the inside, and you haven't been able to talk about the hurt, the devastation. There were times you were screaming so in your mind that you thought you would go out of your mind. There were times that you cried until you had no more strength, that you were literally hyperventilating, and you felt like I can't handle the emotional pain of this. God, this is going to drive me over the edge from day to day. You didn't know what new thing was going to come up, and it even at times threw you into a panic attack. But God, I thank you for the turnaround. I thank you that a praise during the night season is going to catch her. I thank you that she's going to praise. But my only brother was diagnosed with cancer. What year was that, Jeanette? 2012. They diagnosed him with cancer. He had cancer on the brain, cancer in his lymph nodes. He had cancer running throughout his body. The oncologist that had been the doctor from my Aunt Virginia, who died of cancer, was his doctor. She said, we'll give him chemo, we'll give him radiation, but we only can give him 6 months max. If he makes it to the 6 months. Doctors love to act like they're in charge of death and life. They forgot that there's a great physician. They forgot that God has the final word. Even after they signed the death certificate, asked Bishop Bloomer, God still has the final word. They had declared him dead. His mother lifted a sheet and he stood up. My brother, when she gave me 6 months, the Lord spoke to me to go to Germany and minister. I had people all around me thought, that's crazy. Why would God have you go to Germany and your brother's leaving and you want to be here with him? I don't tell God how to be God. Touch your neighbor and say, and you need to stop trying to tell him how to be God too. He didn't ask your permission to make the earth or to make you. He's sovereign. He does what he wants when he wants to. He's God. We just work with him. No test, no testimony. Our tests come only to make us stronger. We're better. We're stronger if we go through something. You're weaker if you've never been tested. And that was a hard test for me because it was the last male in our bloodline. And my baby brother, my only brother. And the Lord spoke to me to go to Germany. And I remember crying and saying, God, I can't go to Germany. I want to be with my brother. If he's leaving here, I just want to be with him. I've done ministry since 1977. I'm always doing people. Can I have a minute for me? I'm preaching to the preachers now. I'm preaching to the pastors now. Can I just have a minute for myself? I just want to be with my brother. And the Lord spoke to me and said, if you stay here, you can't hold death if I send death. God, if I send death for him, death coming back with him. But if you go to Germany, I'll hold him. I got on the plane crying. I sat next to a person for 8 hours and said, God, don't let him talk to me. I just want to talk to you. And I sat there and cried for 8 hours. He never talked to me, the person that was next to me. I got up to go to the restroom, and I got up when the flight was taking off. Didn't even notice it. And when I stood up and the plane was lifting, they were taking off when they tell you to fasten your seat belts and everybody don't move. I stood straight up. The airline stewardess ran over to me. I had a meltdown. I just started crying and said, my brother. And I fell on her shoulder and she said, my friend. And we cried on each other's shoulder. Oh, God will have you minister in your pain. When you're going through, he'll send somebody else going through. And you got to help them when you need help yourself. We went back near the galley, and she said, I just need to finish this flight. When this flight lands in Germany, I'm going to be by my friend's bedside. So I'll be praying for you. I won't be on the flight when you head back to the States. But if you'll pray for my friend, I'll pray for your brother. God has a ram everywhere you're going. I went to Germany, ministered. It was the most amazing meeting. And God did miracles, signs, and wonders. Came back to the States. My brother said he had a dream of all his life going to the Bahamas, taking a cruise and seeing the Bahamas. I said, I'll make both of those things happen in one shot. I'll pay for you and your wife to go. Because I thought he was leaving. But I kept saying to the Lord, but I can't bury him, God. I just can't do it. I'm a seer. And every time I think about burying him, I see myself fall over in that open grave. I see myself fall in that casket. I kept seeing it. I kept saying, God, if you take him, I don't know what I'm going to do. I see my breath leaving me. And I'm such a strong seer. Normally, if I see it, I'll walk in it. I'll do it. I become what I see. I said, God, I won't be able to do that. I don't need you to take him. I need you to leave him here. And I just kept talking to the Lord. I stood in the same church right here. Give me your hand, Lindsay, your son-in-law, whoever's moved. I stood in the same church in the same spot and said, church, I've been manning up and being strong and acting like nothing bothers you because you're a pastor, because you're a prophet. That's my topic tomorrow, Christianity versus humanity. I said, I'm going to be a human being. And for all of those that can't handle me crying, too bad. If I want to come in here and cry in the pew, I'm crying. If I want to come and cry on you and run snot down your shoulder, I'm doing just that. If I decide I'm going to roll on the carpet and lay here the whole service and hyperventilate, I'm doing just that. Because I'm in pain. And I'm a human being. Pastor doesn't make me Wonder Woman or Superwoman. My emotions are going haywire at the thought of burying my brother. I can't imagine, and I said to the Lord, I've never in my life told you no about anything. I've never said I can't do anything you asked me to do. But God, I'm telling you, I can't. I can't even help you. I can't imagine it. You're going to have to help me. I won't be all right. And I kept waiting for one phone call after another. I mean, my nerves, I'm coming unraveled. Every night I'm crying myself to sleep. I would walk and feel my bones shake and look and my clothes are shaking and realize it's me shaking. One day I looked up and felt water running. I thought I was standing under a ceiling dripping or something and realized it was water running out of my own eyes. That I was crying and didn't even know I was crying. My emotions were defying me. They said, oh no, this is one time you're not tricking us. We're going to deal with this. And God is ministering to somebody now that hadn't been dealing with their emotions. Your emotions are about to deal with you on such a level that you won't be able to ignore them as you have in times past. In March, April, the exact month that they said that he would pass, he went to the oncologist. And the oncologist said, I've never seen anything like this in my life. She said that cancer went into total remission. That was 2 years ago. In April, we're back to he'll do it again. This year, they said the cancer's back. And they said this time, we don't understand why he didn't go last time. We have no idea how that cancer turned. The oncologist that has her own practice that's been doing it since my aunt was alive. That's over 60 years. Said, I don't understand for the life of me how that happened. She said, but this time, he's probably leaving here. I was at a funeral here in Bay County. When they were committing the body, I got a phone call from my sister Gloria. And she said, man is non-responsive. They're taking him by ambulance from Havana. Emmanuel, God with us. But I call him man. I said, I'm on my way. I jumped in the car, and thank God my husband was driving, because I would have probably been in an accident. I would have done everything that was on that speedometer. He did 80, and I was harassing him. You can't go any faster? This is all you can do, my brother. He can't go, and I'm not standing there. I don't want him to be afraid. And I kept saying, but God, you can't let him go. If you're going to take him, I need to be standing right there. I promised him I'd be standing there, God. And my husband, being the patient man, he just kept driving. No, I wanted to put my foot over there. I started praying, let him get out to go to the bathroom. I would leave him in this Lexus. He wouldn't stop to use the restroom. He must have discerned, like, oh my God. This prophetic wife of his.
Tell them what he did to reverse the cancer when you went and sat with him.
Okay, I'll go back, circle back. Prayed about it, and I got there, and I just kept praying, God, please, God, please, God, please. I walked in Tallahassee Memorial, and when I walked into the emergency room, and the emergency room was packed. I walked up to the desk, there were 3 or 4 people in line. I thought to myself, bump this, skipping them. God will show you grace and mercy. People in pain, bleeding, it's packed, and I'm thinking, I need to know. I just yelled over the person that was talking to her, giving her information. Emmanuel Melvin, I'm his sister. Where? She said, she immediately told me what room. I guess she said, psycho. Let me just go ahead and give her this room number. She opened the door. I went back there, and as soon as I opened the room that he was in, he said, hey, Vern. He was awake and responsive. Kept him for a little while in the hospital, gave him chemo again, sent him back home. God did it again. He's still here. God did it again. I'm not the only person, though I'm daddy's pet, I'm not the only person that he'll work miracles for. I'm not the only person that he'll heal. If you serve him, he'll show up for you. Hi, I hope you enjoyed it. I am not a lying prophet. I am the real deal. Wasn't that great? It is awesome. And if you would like to keep living it and reliving it and share it with someone else, please purchase the CD, the DVD, the MP3, all or one of them to be a blessing to yourself and to others. I like educating people in the gifts. Don't forget to watch Let the Prophet Speak every Friday and every Monday. Go to our YouTube channel and watch it so that while we're watching it, others are watching it all over the world, you're watching it as well. Those of you that watch the broadcast, thank you for letting the prophet speak. Please continue to watch me. I'll see you next time on Let the Prophet Speak.